And it's time for Saturday with Seniors, brought to you by FCCB's Tioga County offices, which are located in Wellsboro, Mansfield, and Blossburg. FCCB is proud to sponsor Saturday with Seniors here on KC 101. First Citizens Community Bank, building better communities for over 150 years. Member FDIC. And our guest today is Millie Corwin. And Millie, good morning.
Hi.
All right, Millie, I got to ask, how old are you?
I'm 99.
And when are you going to be turning 100?
October 4th. I'm going to make it.
Everyone here tells me you're the leader here at the Senior Center, and everybody looks up to you, which is great.
Oh, my sakes, no. I'm the latest one here. I'm not the leader. Oh, there she is.
So tell me, where were you born? Let's start off with that.
I was born in Colden, New York, not far from Buffalo, out in the country.
What did your parents do when you were a kid?
My dad was a machinist, but back then he just worked wherever he could find work, and he never stopped.
Did they ever complain about having enough money, or it seems like that generation just accepted what they had?
No, never heard him complain. No, he was the best man ever.
So you were born in the Buffalo area, and then when did you move to Pennsylvania?
When I was a baby, we moved to Eldred, Pennsylvania, where my grandfather lived, and we lived there for many, many years.
So what was school like there? Did you go to a big school or a little one-room schoolhouse?
We went to Eldred High School. It started there as first grade, went till the 8th grade, and our school was consolidated, and it went to Otto Township, was just outside. And then I stayed there until I went to Shingle House in 1938, and that's where I graduated.
When did you eventually end up here in the Potter-Tioga County area?
Well, my folks moved to Wellsboro in 1940 because my dad got a job with Corning Glass as a machinist, and then I followed him down.
Wow. So what was Wellsboro like in 1940? I know that's a long time ago, but do you have any memories of what life was like then?
Wellsboro was really important. You know, it just seemed like everybody went to Wellsboro for everything. And I lived there and joined in when I needed to. I worked there for 34 years. So
you worked in Wellsboro for 34 years, huh?
I started with the GLF, and it went to Agway, and I was transferred several times, but ended up in Wellsboro again.
And where was the GLF that became the Agway that you worked at in Wellsboro? I'm not familiar with where that was.
It was at the bottom of Jackson Street, right across from where the Corning Glass Works was. And it was just a feed mill, and I inhaled feed dust. But it was a nice place to work. They were good to me.
While you were working in Wellsboro, were you living in town as well?
Yes.
Where were you living in Wellsboro at the time?
On Nichols Street.
What type of things did you do for fun at that age with your friends?
Just the movies once in a while.
And when you first started going to the movies, was there sound movies back then?
There was sound, my sakes. I'm not that old. You know, the first one I went was Janet Gaynor. You don't know her. She was popular then. And I think his name was Charles Farrell. And they were really popular. And that was the first movie I ever saw. I don't remember the name of it, but I remember her. She was a pretty redhead. I don't remember him at all.
I bet you it was probably a nickel to go to the movies back then.
Oh, yeah, nickel. And they were hard to find, you know.
So what was your first job in Wellsboro?
When I went to Wellsboro, I started work at the dime store, Mosier's 5 and 10. And I worked there for almost a year. And I worked for $9 a week, 6 days. And on my birthday, he raised me $1, so I was getting $10 a week. But he was angry that I applied for work as a bookkeeper. He told me he would close the store before he would ever hire me again, but I didn't feel bad because I never felt bad about leaving to go to work for Agway because they were great people.
It's interesting that you worked at Mosier's 5 and 10 because we had Jim Paxson on this very program just a couple weeks ago. He worked for his dad back in the earlier days there, but I guess before his dad. So did you meet Jim Paxson's dad, or were you there before his dad had the store?
Just before Paxson. He bought it from Mr. Mosier. I remember there was another dime store on the corner. We had competition. We used to have to go down there and check their prices.
Did they send you in undercover? Were you one of those secret undercover agents?
Not very undercover, but we were sneaking.
So when you worked in Wellsboro back then in the 40s, how did you get to work? Did you walk, drive?
I walked every place to work. Yeah, I didn't ever have a car to drive, so that was good for me.
She still walks.
I still walk all I can, but it's with these two helpers.
You hold on, Millie. We're going to be right back. You're listening to Saturday with Seniors. We do this each Saturday at 10 in the morning. Talk with a local senior citizen about growing up in our area. It's sponsored by FCCB's Tioga County offices, which are in Wellsboro, Mansfield, and Blossburg. And you can hear this and all prior Saturday with Senior episodes on our YouTube channel. The easiest way to get to it's through our website, kc101fm.com. First Citizens Community Bank, building better communities for over 150 years, member FDIC. Our guest today on Saturday with Seniors is Millie Corwin, 99 years young, and we've been talking with her about her first jobs in Wellsboro, and you walk to work. So let me ask this question. Did you have a driver's license at some point, and how old were you when you got that, or how'd that work out for you?
Not until after I met the man I married, he taught me how to drive. He was a good teacher, and I drove for a long time after that. But I was a real greenhorn, I'll tell you. But it wasn't bad, and I was glad to learn.
Do you happen to remember your first car, what you bought?
Oh, yeah, I remember. It was a 1941 Mercury, and it didn't have a heater in it. And I drove to work in that cold old buggy for a long time. But I lived through it.
I bet you that first car probably didn't even have seatbelts either, or radio for that matter.
Oh, are you kidding? No, they didn't know what seatbelts were.
So back in those days, how did your family get their news? Did you get the newspaper? I mean, this is before the days of TV. Or were you listening to radio at night to get your news, or where'd it come from?
A weekly paper in Wellsboro. They had a weekly paper. There was a Buffalo Evening News that my dad liked to get, and we didn't only get that once a week because it cost a dime. You know, back then you looked at a dime a long time before you spent it.
Now, are you old enough to remember the Great Depression, and what was that like?
I remember. I lived through it, but I never went hungry. I had the best parents in the world, and they provided for us, believe me.
Boy, it seems like people back then, I just have a feeling, were more willing to give the shirt off their back if you needed it to help you out. Neighbors helping neighbors out through a tough time like that.
Absolutely, and if you wanted to eat, you worked. Believe me, and my dad did.
This was all before the days of unemployment.
Oh, didn't know such a thing. He worked hard and many times walked to work himself, So
do you have any children?
I didn't have any of my own. I had 3 stepchildren I helped to raise. There was only one still alive, and I live with her. She's a wonderful person.
You seem to be doing extremely well for someone who's 99 years old. So what is your secret to youth?
Well, you know, my daughter keeps me exercising, and you know, sometimes I don't like it, but it works. I do hand exercises every morning, and now she's gotten me doing step-ups and bicycling, and you know, I think it helps. It's easier to walk and, you know, keep your balance.
You gotta take care of yourself in this world.
Oh, boy. Well, she does an awful good job of it, I'll tell you. I don't know what I'd do without her. What bothers me most is there's no respect shown by the children growing up today. Maybe it's because they weren't taught it, but it makes you wonder if the mothers and fathers were taught it. Where do we lose it? I don't know.
And if you think today's generation is different than what your life was growing up, can you imagine what the next generation is going to be like?
Oh, I'd just as soon not be around. If I get 106, I'll be happy.
106, is that your goal, to make it to 106?
I don't know if Bev wants me around that long or not. I'm too slow. But if you're slow, you're not so apt to fall and break a bone. So
Hey, take your time. What's the rush, right?
no rush for me.
And for those that haven't caught, we're doing today's show from the Senior Center in Elkland. And when I got here to the Active Living Center, also known as the Senior Center, you were playing a bingo game that I interrupted. How often do you come here?
Every Monday here and every Tuesday in Millerton.
So if anyone wants to come meet you, Millie, you're a star on the radio. They know where to come find you here at the Elkland Active Living Center.
Oh, yeah, they don't need to come to meet me, but they can come to Seniors.
They're going to want your autograph now, Millie.
Okay. It was nice talking with you.
It was very nice talking with you too, Millie. Millie Corwin, 99 years young here as we finish up another edition of Saturday with Seniors, brought to you by FCCB's Tioga County offices in Wellsboro, Mansfield, and Blossburg. And you can hear this and all prior Saturday with Senior episodes on our YouTube channel. Just go to our website, kc101fm.com, and you'll find a link there. First Citizens Community Bank, building better communities for over 150 years. Member FDIC.